Hi, folks. Michael Robinson here with michaelrobinsonart.com. I've got on my green beret and my green shirt today because I'm going to be. Oh, and this pendant here is tourmaline. It's a green stone. Why is it all green today? We're talking about money. Specifically, this is a behind the scenes look at my painting about the cryptocurrency revolution. It's called Guardians of the Temple. Quickly, let me just tell you why I'm the unique person to have done this painting. See, I have an honors economics degree with a special emphasis on monetary economics. I was a teaching assistant for money and banking. I also was a banking reporter back in the day. Wrote a book about the nation's financial system, the savings loan crisis, okay? So I know what I'm talking about when it comes to money. More importantly, I was one of the first analysts in the United States to do investments as a day job to recommend Bitcoin in the summer of 2013. 2013 was trading for around $300. It's $60,000 as of today. I also know Dr. Gavin Wood, the guy who wrote the code for Ethereum. So I'm not trying to brag. I'm just trying to let you know that I have a unique background for this high concept painting called Guardians of the Temple. Let's get to talking about it right now. Let's talk about the Guardians themselves. Here's the temple, right? These guys here are like from the totems, from a temple, you might say, right? Exactly. But why do they have on a jester's crown? Well, because fiat currency in a lot of ways is a joke. We're just calling it money, but really most of it's just digits in a bank account. That's what it is. I have a lot of cash on my hand when I leave the house because I live in an earthquake zone. But most people, they just use plastic and digits. Anyway, so here is the dollar sign, this is the euro sign, and this is the sign for the yuan. Why? These are the three dominant currencies. These are the three dominant economies in the world. All of them have fiat currency. So here's the thing. Why is the United States looking this way and the rest of the world is looking the other way? Because most of our trading allies often turn their backs on America. They just do, folks. Especially China. Do you really trust them? I love the fact that there's a snake in here that's kind of saying there's a snake in the temple, right? And this right here, let me see if I can get a little closer so you can see it. Hopefully you can. That's the Bitcoin symbol right there. Now, here's something really interesting. Eye candy. It says 030109. That is the exact day that Satoshi released the source code for Bitcoin / the blockchain. Okay? Very important date in the history of money. Up here is the crypto revolution in the making, right? What do we have here? We have the symbols for specific currencies. This is for Litecoin. This is for Zcoin. This is for Neo. This is Omegosh. Ethereum, which is by far my favorite part of the blockchain and by far my favorite crypto. XRP, having a little problem with XRP right now, but we'll get into that later. Up here, we see that it says the words mega millions. That's a diphthong, A-E, mega millions. I'm kind of talking about back to the ancient days of Greeks and Romans when we had currency. Here it says mega millions because that's the California lottery symbol. And what am I trying to say here? I'm trying to say that the world of the fiat currency in a lot of ways is like lottery society. That's why it's there. Also, it was just a lot of fun, and I'm from California. I just thought it was a cool thing to add. It's a little bit of eye candy up there. I wanted to reinforce the sense of a revolution, so it's very subtle. Let me see if I can get this a little bit closer for you guys. There we are. Right up in here is a little mushroom cloud. Now, I made this mushroom cloud very faint because if it becomes a dominant thing, it changes the entire painting. This is supposed to be a lighthearted look at a serious subject, okay? And the one thing I didn't mention before, and I do want to call your attention to this, right, is this is the Fed. Okay, that's not the Fed symbol, but this little character in here losing his mind, surrounded by all these cryptocurrencies, is the Federal Reserve, which runs our money supply, okay? And they've been printing money right and left during the pandemic. And what's really important about that is the title of this painting is called Guardians of the Temple. Well, it's based on a famous book written about the Federal Reserve that I happen to know about. Okay, over here, we've got the triangle that comes from the back of the dollar. So if I get a little bit closer for you guys. There's the eye, and this rainbow figure up here will come up in a minute. We'll talk about that. There's the eye from the back. Athens, which is crossed out. Rome, crossed out. because those are both, obviously those are dead empires. New York City, we're implying that New York City has had its zenith, and now we're looking at the next world, Mars, right? The United States government's going to Mars. We're on Mars right now. We just had a new rover up there, right? And then Elon Musk wants to maybe figure out a way to colonize Mars. That's kind of cool. Up here is a really important part of the writing of this painting. Don't give me that down here. Do goody good bullshit. Don't give me that do goody good bullshit. That's a line from a song by Pink Floyd called, appropriately enough, Money. And it was on Dark Side of the Moon. Remember I said right over here, I had these colors. If you think about the Dark Side of the Moon album, it had a prism. So I'm bringing back this prism here. I think I've covered pretty much everything. I gave the wall here this crenellated look to look as though it were a fort or a fortress, like the wall of a temple. The river to me is very important in two ways. It symbolizes the separation of the old world, symbolized by the dinosaur. I'm not saying that fiat currency is a dinosaur, but I'm not sure we're going to have the kind of fiat money we have today in 20, 25 years, right? The Chinese just launched their own crypto coin. Very significant. United States, we're talking about the Fed coin. So it also separates the new world and the old world, but also, very importantly, money is a flow. So that's what I'm trying to say here. The river is a separation, but it's also symbolic of the flow. And look how the force of the money flow is coming into the temple where the guardians lie, and who are now, of course, as I just mentioned a moment ago, jesters. They're kind of a joke. Anyway, listen, I enjoy doing these, and I hope that you've enjoyed this behind-the-scenes look at Guardians of the Temple. I had so much fun doing this. I love the sense of humor and the playfulness about something that's obviously very funny. Very serious, but there's a funny look. I like to keep these kind of lighthearted. You can make statements about big concepts in the world. If you kind of make them, that's one of my stuff is kind of primitive because it's childlike. Like you come up and you have a reaction like a child having a discovery experience. So anyway, that's the story for Guardians of the Temple. I hope you've enjoyed this. Come by Instagram or Facebook and show me some love. We always like hanging out with you art fans. Okay, thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.